Hi, in this video, I want to put theory aside and share with you a real story of how one of my clients, Polly, overcame a really tough time in her life where she was feeling really isolated, physically, emotionally, really disconnected, and how she used movement medicine to get herself set back up and feeling really, really good and motivated. So stay tuned because you're going to hear in her actual words her story and her struggle and how she was able to really quickly and effectively use the Recovery and Resiliency Program that is getting started in just a few days to help herself turn things around and feel so much better. If you haven't already watched the first few videos, I highly recommend that you go back and look through those videos because I share with you how to quickly get started with the Recovery and Resiliency Program, as well as a couple of tips that you can use right now, some really interesting exercises that you can use to help balance your nervous system, help feel more energized, more clear, and help to start move inflammation out of your body using movement as medicine. So back to what we're doing, which is a little different in this video, which is sharing a real story of transformation. So my client, Polly, I've known for a really, really long time. She was one of my osteopathy clients, and she came with me on yoga holidays to North Africa. So when I created movement medicine, I reached out. I knew she would be kind of an ideal person for the program. And it just so happened that she had moved to the countryside in England, and COVID and lockdown happened, and she was feeling really, really isolated, and it triggered a big anxiety attack for her. And she shut down, and she felt physically and emotionally and spiritually really disconnected. And it was really, really a hard time, a crisis for her. And it was the perfect time as well that I could help her to find her way back. And so she began with the program, the Recovery and Resiliency Program, and almost right away she began to see results. And with the movement exercises that hold so much life coaching in the movements themselves, it was just a shift that was really, really fast and efficient so that she got back to doing the other things that she loved. She started to teach yoga again within just a few weeks of actually starting on my program, starting to move again, starting to do more stronger workouts that she needed, and she stopped the kind of eating and drinking habits that were harmful as well, and just turned things around. And she's just the most exuberant, lovely person. So I know you're going to really, really love this little story. So enjoy. Here is Polly's story in her own words.
You and I reconnected at the perfect time because I had just moved away from from being in the city for 20 years and all of the security that had brought to my life, to a very isolated spot in a beautiful part of the countryside, but literally just as lockdown hit. Various things conspired to then just bring out a terrible anxiety crisis, probably my worst. I've only had a handful, but it was, I was in dire straits, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I just think there was no there was no connection with anything. So again, you've done this before. We just seem to sort of reconnect just when I need it most, but we hadn't talked much about movement medicine. I didn't really know anything about it, but you said, let's, come along, see what you think. And it was from the very beginning, even though my mind, wasn't fully engaging with every single thing that we were doing, it just naturally, organically, without me even processing, thinking, trying, just began the most powerful transformation that I think I've ever had on all those levels. The very basic part of it, though, I think, was that I started to move again. And as soon as we reconnected and I started the brilliant Zoom calls to Nicaragua, I just found that so healing, just moving. And very quickly, I was doing, different forms of exercise, yoga, obviously. You led me back into teaching yoga. I'd stopped teaching yoga altogether. And actually, within a few weeks, I started teaching again. And just the dancing, I think. I don't know whether it's something about, there's just something so primitive and powerful and magical about what you do. And it was just exactly what I needed at that time.
So you shifted really quickly out of that
Yeah.
state. And
Yeah.
then when you come like through the classes that we do together, how do you feel like in class, after class, with in the group environment? How is that experience for you?
So for me, it is just so fun and funny. And I just love our little meetups. It's like this instant crazy community. It really reminds me of a fun yoga retreat where you just are thrown together with so many different characters. Everybody is bringing something different to the table, but we just have such a bond, and it's so hilarious. I just always end up having so much fun. And that, I think, again, is part of why it's almost mysterious, the way that the alchemy of the whole thing, because I'm not consciously thinking, right, I must do this, I must do that, I must follow a little plan. It just uplifts you, refreshes you, and it's like a little seed is sown, like a little mystery seed is sown after each and every time that we reconnect, every time we have a little meeting. And it's very subconscious. It's not, for me, it's not been a conscious process. It's just been this, like a little silent friend by my side. And I just look forward to the meetups now because I think we laugh so much more than anything. We just have so much fun.
So you came and you did like we did the first 6-week program together. And then from there, it's been like 7 or 8 months since we started doing that. When I look back at the recordings, I'm like, oh wow, there's really like a lot here. And do you find it a useful ongoing part of your life?
I do. I would be lost now, I think, without it. I wouldn't be lost because actually you've given me such solid foundations now, I think, moving forward. But I would hope to be able to tap into this resource, forever. Because I feel every time we meet, there's some new little fun, the singing, the poetry, the insight. I love also that you keep in touch with us in between. I love the interviews, the wisdom interviews that you send. But I feel like, it's a whole new experience for me, really, having that sense of women gathering together and supporting one another. And the support is so genuine and so appreciated. And I feel like I really need that now. So yeah, I mean, I really look forward. It's just such a support as well as great fun.
Does it feel easy to add? Because we all have such busy lives. Does it feel easy enough to have in the mix of all the thousand other things that you're kind of taking care of?
Yeah, because I feel you have made this course so you make it very easy. You make it seem very effortless, but I can only imagine you are like the proverbial swan with the little flippers under the water. But you are so giving, and your wealth of knowledge that you have gathered over the years and your different skill sets, plus then all of the knowledge that you pull in with your expert, old lecturers or old professors from your osteo days. I just think it's such a unique resource. And I'm so terrible with tech, but probably one of the good things about the lockdown is I'm now so used to Zoom, and I adore it because you're in Nicaragua, someone else in the group is in Canada, another girl is in France, I'm in deepest, darkest Derbyshire in England, and yet we are all there, and it feels like we're all together, even though we're miles apart. So you make it very easy on that front, I have to say.
I hope you enjoyed that story, Polly's story. And she followed exactly the same steps that you'll follow if you join my program. And as you heard from her, the results were really, really fast. So imagine for yourself the things that you're struggling with. Perhaps it's pain, perhaps it's discomfort in your body, inflammation, feeling of fatigue, trickiness with sleep, energy going up and down, times of the day where you'd like more energy, more mental clarity. These are all things that really start to shift with the Recovery and Resiliency Program. And this is really an exciting opportunity, and one that I hope you'll join me in. And as you know from my other videos, I only work with a small handful of people. I find that each person I connect with, I want to make sure I know your story, and I can tailor make some of the parts, some of the aspects of the course and the advice that I can give you. So getting into the program will be limited. It's not going to be a huge program. And this program is just, it is work that has come together over 20 years of really understanding how the body recovers through my work as an osteopath, as well as understanding how effective movement can be when it's used properly, which comes from my really deep love and work as a yoga teacher and doing so many other types of movement as well. And then some really wise, the wisdom that enriches things, which comes from a deep understanding of how the nervous system works, and trauma recovery, which has kind of long been my field of expertise, and just understanding how the body holds onto traumas from the past and how we kind of get numbed out, how we get tapped out. And over time, especially as women, as we get older, we tend to be less aware of our bodies physically, as well as the effects that age and inflammation have on our bodies. So the Recovery and Resiliency Program is a really beautiful way to get yourself, it's kind of like a reset, and we all need a reset. So important that we do that for ourselves. And it's not hard to get started. And I'm going to guide you step by step through every piece of it, so it will fit seamlessly into your day. And it's not just another program that you'll put on a shelf like an exercise tool. And it's not a fad diet, and it's not going to cost you thousands of dollars. It's not going to be kind of like you opening your drawer of supplements where you're like, oh my God, I can't even remember what all these things are for. This is really effective. It's really wise. It is prime time for us as women to get back our health and our energy and our clarity and our ability to be comfortable in our bodies, so that we have energy and motivation. So I hope you'll join me, and we're going to be getting started in just a few days. So if you have any questions, drop me an email. And in the next video, I'm going to outline exactly the last pieces that you need to know to get yourself signed up and to begin getting your energy and motivation back. Thank you so much. Looking forward to connecting and meeting you.